Very good morning, students. After completing the dissection of the chamber of the right atrium, this is the time to dissect the chamber of the right ventricle. Now, this is the inferior border, apex of the heart. Here was the right atrium. This area is which lies here between this groove, coronary groove between the right atrium and the right ventricle, here where the right coronary artery is lying. Okay, from here and then on to the left side, it is bounded by the anterior interventricular groove, where this anterior interventricular artery branch of the left coronary is going, and below it is bounded by the inferior border. This is the site where there is the beginning of the pulmonary trunk. Okay, so what I am going to do is that I will give a horizontal cut here just below the pulmonary valves here. Okay, and by feeling this, where should be the pulmonary valve with the thumb and finger here, I will decide the level and will give a horizontal cut. Then I will give a level cut here around 1 centimeter away from this right coronary groove here, and then the 1 centimeter just right to that of the interventricular groove, and another cut, and will reflect the flap downwards. Okay, so I will come after a minute. Welcome back, students. Okay, in the dissection of the the right ventricle, what I did, I gave a cut here, horizontal, and then the 2 vertical, and then just remove the anterior wall of the right ventricle here. You can see that I washed it and removed the blood clot which were there. What we see after just seeing inside the cavity of the right ventricle is that some of the part of this right ventricular cavity, they are rough, and that is the inferior part of the ventricular cavity, they are quite rough. These are the muscles which shows the ridges. Okay, they show the ridges. Okay, and at certain places they show the bridges, and some of the muscles which are coming out, they are called as papillae. So 3 types of the irregular muscular projections are seen from the inferior part of the right ventricle. These are the ridges, and bridges are there where we can pass the forceps. See this is that bridge. Okay, there will be many seen here. Okay, seen here, and then the upper part. Okay, so this was the lower part. The upper part of the right ventricle is quite smooth here. You can see this upper part, which is called as the infundibulum. This upper part is smooth, and it is a small part, of course, but it is infundibulum. Now actually the rough part is the incoming part. That means the blood comes from the right atrioventricular orifice. Okay, and this is the inflowing part, which is the lower part where the muscle is rough, and then the blood ascend up to go inside the this pulmonary valves. Okay, tricuspid pulmonary valve, and that is called as the outflowing part, and this outflowing part up is the infundibular part, and it is smooth. So you are seeing this smooth outflowing part which will go into this pulmonary trunk. Okay, I will just give a cut of pulmonary trunk to show this arrangement of the valves. Okay, later. Now if you see this left ventricular chamber, there are 2 openings. The one opening is that of this atrioventricular wall. Right atrioventricular wall opening is there, and in this right atrioventricular wall there is the presence of 3 cusps, which you can see from the ventricular cavity side, and this cusp margins are giving attachment to the thread-like structure called as the carda tendineae. This thread, and this thread-like structure, they are attached onto the ventricular surface of the cusp, atrioventricular cusp. There are 3 cusps here in the atrioventricular orifice here. Okay, and this cusp is anterior. I am just moving if you can see, I am moving with the finger the anterior cusp and then there is a posterior cusp which is deep to my finger here, and I will lift it from the ventricular side, this posterior cusp. See this. This, if you can see, this is the posterior cusp is in the tip of my forceps. This is posterior. Then there is a third cusp here, and this third cusp is very close to the interventricular septum. So you can see this third cusp in my forceps, and it is close to that of the interventricular septum. That's why this cusp is called as the septal cusp. So there are three cusps: atrioventricular cusp, anterior cusp, the posterior cusp, and that of the septal cusp. This wall of the chamber of the right ventricle is facing towards the septum. This is the septum, which is an interventricular septum is there. And this cusp, as I said, that they are attached onto the ventricular surface, and then if you trace this thread like cardi tendini, as they are called as, they are going to get attached onto this muscle projections, and this muscle projection, they are papillary muscles. Okay, in the tip of my forceps is the papillary, anterior papillary. In fact, there are two anterior papillary muscles are there here. I will show you the other anterior papillary also. This is the another anterior papillary muscle is there, and both are sending their carda tendini, okay, from this, okay, to get attached to that of the cusp. Okay, now then this rough area from septum is sending a prominent muscular ridge, what is called as the septomarginal band. This is called as septomarginal band. See this, this is that band which is going to the base of the anterior papillary muscle. Okay, this was cut from here, but it is sending the branches to this anterior papillary muscle posteriorly here, as well as the muscle band was coming right up to the base of this anterior papillary, and this is that septomarginal band. It is said that this septomarginal band, its function is to prevent the over distension of the left ventricle, and at the same time it gives passage to the right bundle branch of His. Okay, that is the conducting system. So the right bundle branch of His, it travels in this, and first it's applied to this papillary muscle, so that they are first to contract and pull this cardi tendini, so that these walls become active before the contraction of the ventricle. So the no regurgitation takes place of the blood from the right ventricle to that of the right atrium, to that of the right atrium. So this is about septomarginal and the cardi tendini and the papillary muscle. Okay, so we have seen the two papillary muscle. There is one more papillary muscle which is seen onto the posterior aspect, that is called as the posterior papillary muscle. I will try to show you here. Okay, can you see this? In the tip of my forceps is the posterior papillary muscle. See this, which I am moving, and this is also giving the attachment to the cardi tendini fibrous, that is thread-like structure. This structure which is moving here, this is posterior papillary muscle. And another papillary muscle is seen here, which is taking origin from the septum itself. Okay, that is called as the septal. Here there is that the cardi tendini are taking origin, but there is no papillary. They are directly taking origin from that of the septum. As you can see, there is no papillary muscle, but the cardi tendini. I was trying to show you the third papillary muscles, that is the posterior papillary. See this, very deep in the septal, very deep in the tip of forceps is the septal papillary muscle, which I am moving. Okay, it is in the depth. Okay, but coming from the septum it is there. So these are the papillary muscles, and that of the cardi tendinis are there. Okay, so this is that rough part of the right ventricular chamber. Okay, right vent. Let us see the smooth part, or the vestibule part, or outflowing part of the blood ascend here, and then it goes like this. and then I will show you from ventricular surface that this wall is called as the pulmonary valve, which is guarded by the three cusps of the pulmonary wall. You can see, if you can see the cusp here, we are seeing it from below. This is the right and left anterior cusp, and there is one posterior cusp is here. Okay, one posterior, this is the left anterior, and this is the right anterior. So these are the three pulmonary cusps which prevents the regurgitation of blood back from the pulmonary trunk. What I will do is that I will give a cut here to show you this cusp. We will open the pulmonary trunk and will show you this three cusp which is not seen properly from this side, that is from the ventricular side. So I will give this, I am giving this cut here between the right and left anterior valve cusp, between right and left cusp, and this I am just extending this incision into the pulmonary trunk, so that when I will just turn it, you can see this is the lumen of the pulmonary trunk is there, and then this cusp, this is the right semilunar cusp here, pulmonary cusp, you can see here, the upper margin there is a thickening lunule, what is called as lunule, and this is the left anterior pulmonary trunk. This is again semilunar, and this thickening is seen in the middle of the upper margin. The blood goes and fills here, and the blood filling into the three cups cusp here will bring their margin close to each other. Now I will show you the posterior cusp here, okay, and this is the posterior pulmonary cusp here. See this is the posterior. So this is the right and left anterior, and this is the posterior pulmonary valve. Okay, cusp of the pulmonary valve is here, and this will open and the blood will go into the right, into the pulmonary trunk, which is pulmonary trunk. So this completes the dissection of the right ventricular chamber. Okay, the right ventricular chamber, we have seen the three atrioventricular cusp, okay, anterior, posterior and septal. We have seen the papillary muscles also, which brings the chordae tendineae thread-like structure to the margin of these cusps. We have also seen the septomarginal band here, and from the inferior aspect we have seen that there are three pulmonary cusps, and right and left anterior and a posterior, and after opening we could see all these three cusps, okay, all these three cusps here. Thank you very much for watching this video on the dissection of the right ventricle.